A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Godfrey is my name. I'm a tour guide doing trips, safaris in East Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania. On top of that, I am a conservationist. I love animals. I'm too much in love and enthusiastic about conserving wildlife. And where I am now, I'm in Kampala, in Uganda. That is the capital city of Uganda. That's where I live. And I also have been doing this job of being a tour guide for about 7 years now in the system. And for conservation, it's born within me. I started loving animals, especially the mountain gorillas, when I was just 5 years. So you can imagine how close I am with the gorillas. And then with this project that we are on now, the Forgotten Kingdom, how we called it. Um, it's basically about looking at how harmoniously people living around the mountain gorillas can live together. Why the Forgotten Kingdom? Because the gorillas are the endangered remaining apes in the whole world, and their life has been on threat, basically because of habitat, because of loss of habitat, and then you realize that something needs to be done. Something needs to be done because their habitat is limited, and where they live, it's a small space. They would need more space. So and of course there are people who live there as well, and because the population of people is growing and the population of the animals is growing as well. When I realized, when I looked into it, I've been studying the situation all over the years, over the period of many years, when I came to understand the real meaning of conservation. Then I've been monitoring, and then I was like, uh, these animals have limited habitat, and then people are encroaching on it. And then I realized also that these animals needed to live. And then I see maybe the government, conservation organizations, conservationists doing something, but not enough. So I said I came up with an idea of coming up with this project, which I opted to name the Forgotten Kingdom. Why the Forgotten Kingdom? Because the gorillas are few, very few. They can be found only in 3 countries in the whole world. That is Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania. The mountain gorillas, they are the only remaining apes to the chimpanzees, with the chimpanzees, so one of the two. And the closest, of course, the largest ape being the mountain gorilla. So basically, when I looked at it, I was like, something really had to be done, and come up with this name, the Forgotten Kingdom, is just to show spread spread the news that actually these animals still exist. They are not entirely forgotten, though the world knows literally, they knows little or possibly nothing about the existence of mountain gorillas. So I came up with this just to spread awareness, to show people, the world, that these animals actually still exist. As you guys could have noticed, when you getting interest, when you're interested in seeing or meeting the Forgotten Kingdom, like we described, you come to Uganda. The best place to see these special, these mighty animals is in Uganda. The best place is called Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. And then another place is Mugahinga National Park. All these two national parks are found in Uganda. And the way into these destinations is through Entebbe Airport, International Airport in Uganda. And this airport is a link to the outside world, the international world. We have destinations from the US, from all over the world. You can connect directly to Entebbe International Airport. And on your arrival, I will be waiting for you, or any other staff of of this project could be waiting to take you to the Forgotten Kingdom. And this journey from the airport to the national parks, either of the two, one of them takes us about 9 hours drive on the road, and another one to Mugahinga National Park takes us 8 hours. So whichever we choose, we use public transport, and that's a bus. So from the airport, we will take you either take a taxi, airport taxi, or choose to take a boda boda. A boda boda is a motorcycle. A motorcycle is the commonest means of transport and is the quickest in Uganda, especially in Ugandan cities. Why? Because there is a lot of traffic, the roads are few, but there are very many people. Because of that, the boda boda is handy for quick means of transport. And then when we get to the bus station, of course, you take a bus, and then along the way, you meet, of course, you bypass very many things, different things, people. And in this bus, of course, people are traveling, and then Uganda is an ethnic country where we have about 56 ethnic groups of people. That means we have 56 different cultures, different people. Can imagine how interesting that is. So when you take the bus, it's better because you get to enjoy different cultures, different people, different types of foods, because people are traveling for different reasons, for business, for visiting, for adventure, for study purposes, maybe students. So you have a chance to interact when you travel with public transport. And when you, of course, along the way, on this way, you have a chance to view the beauty of Uganda. the Sinai in the west. This direction to the Forgotten Kingdom, we take the southwestern route of the country. So it is the views are excellent, green throughout the year. And then we come across actually on this way, you pass one of the two Savannah National Parks in Uganda, where you will actually have a views of different species of birds and animals, trees, and the like. And and then of course, as you go, you meet people along the way. You do bus stops for short calls, of course, because the journey is very long, 9-10 hours. You make stops. So on these stops, you have a chance to meet people. You meet people selling different food stuff. And what is more interesting on these people, that the food they are selling is fresh food, fresh fruits. So you have a chance to enjoy the tropical fruits, tropical fresh fruits. It's interesting. And then, of course, you proceed on this journey until we get to our destination. Either the more handy one in the best direction is Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. And why? It's because when the conservation of these Forgotten Kingdom started, the conservation started in Bwindi National Park, and that was way back in 1991. So why it is handy is because it's where the conservation starts, and then it's also feels good when you go where it started, where it all started from. So there you enter the national park, and then from the national park, we'll actually go into the jungle, and that will be on foot. Because like I mentioned, it's an impenetrable national park, and there is no road in the park. So we go through the trails, the created trails specifically for these activities that we shall be doing, looking for the mountain gorillas. Gorillas are divided into two species of gorillas. We have the eastern and the western gorillas, and what we are looking at, or the forgotten kingdom that we are concentrating at, are the western gorillas. And in the western gorillas are also divided into subspecies. We have the Roland western and the Highland western gorillas. So the mountain gorillas, where we are in, is now in the western gorillas. Yeah. So the gorillas they are critically endangered, like I mentioned before, and they are the remaining apes in the whole world. And the gorillas are almost of the same size, and the gorilla group, they are divided into groups, so they live in families just like human beings. Remember, like I mentioned, the gorillas are the second closest relatives of human beings. They also live in families like human beings, and their family head is called a silverback. A silverback is the alpha male, and it becomes a silverback. The leadership is almost it's you become a leader when you fight for it, so you become a leader. So we call that we call it a dominant male, which is a silverback. So this silverback is the leader, the head of the family, who determines where, when, and how the family lives. The gorillas, what is so special about them is that the gorillas are actually 98% they are vegetarians, 98% vegetarian. So they eat leaves and grass, vegetables. Basically, they eat vegetables. And the remaining thing they can feed on ants, on dead wood, and water. But basically, they are vegetarians. An alpha male, can weigh about between 191 and 268, 67 kilograms. And then the difference between the alpha male and the female is that the female is a bit less heavier and so smaller, slightly smaller than the male, because the female can weigh between 91 kilograms and 120. That is the biggest female. 120 and then 91 kilograms between that. So it depends also on the weight. The weight depends on where they feed from, because of course the locations are not the same. Each group lives in in an isolated specific place. They don't live together. A family or a group, they live in a specific place. So basically, if the food is nice, maybe the vegetations are favorable enough, maybe they are fat enough as well. So that's about their feeding habits. And then, like I mentioned earlier also, that these gorillas are the second closest relatives of human beings. They also live a daily life that is almost or equivalent or relatively similar to human beings. Their daily routine, when you monitor them, when you look at them, they have a morning routine, a daily routine that they follow. So they wake up early as 6 a.m., and then they start the journey. And basically, this journey is all about looking for food. And where they go, where they go, they look for food, they get food, and it's actually where they sleep. So the difference now between us and them is that they don't have a designated residence where they sleep every day. So they sleep in one nest every day. And how do they sleep also? They make nests. And these nests, they make them daily. They make nests daily, on a daily basis. Where they sleep, they make nests there, and then they move the next morning, and then they go to another destination. There they sleep. So how we know them is how we know the numbers. For example, we count the nests. So when you come across to where they slept, you count the nests which are there, and then on knowing the nests, you will see the bigger nest and the small nest. You also consider the poo, because they only poo where they slept. You note that they only poo where they slept. So in counting the poo, taking samples, and that's how we know how many are they in numbers. And another thing another interesting thing actually about these gorillas, and why I think we need to conserve them. We need to look at them, indeed, to give them another chance to live just like us, is because these animals, these animals have a real general life feeling of life. I mean, they are humble, as I called them. They are gentle giants, very gentle and very unharmful. They are not harmful. They are okay to live harmoniously with anyone, with any kind of animals, with human beings. They are okay. Why? Because their diet is limited. There is no competition for food between us, for example, human beings or other animals. There is no competition for food. Why? There is no human being that eats grass. So basically, they are really, that's how special they are. Even in the wild where they live, they are not in competition for food with other animals. Why? Because they don't eat fruits. They eat fruits, but not really at a higher scale. So they cannot actually compete with other apes like the chimpanzees, like the primates, like other primates like the baboons, uh, all other animals that feed on, even the birds, which feed on fruits. There is no competition. So you can imagine how special they are, that they can be able to live with everyone. They can live with everyone, and really they are okay with living with any kind of object, any kind of human being, any kind, if that space was there. The challenge is their life. Their life is not does not diversify. They do not get used quickly to climate. So they have their the atmosphere, or the places, or the climate, I can call it, where they live is, their adaptation process takes long, so they cannot adopt very quickly, and that's why I think that's the main reason why their habitat is very limited. They are only able to live in places where they are meant to live, or where they were, they found themselves naturally. Just like earlier before. Now I am happy to say that, to mention that, actually, even though we call it's a forgotten kingdom, but because of different reasons that we mentioned earlier, but the future of these mountain gorillas is bright. Why? Their population has been growing over the years, and now I'm happy to tell you that we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. The numbers have been growing to the extent that now about we have about 1,069 mountain gorillas in the whole world, and the numbers have been increasing over the years, though at a lower pace. But we have hope that the numbers will increase even more. But the most important thing now is, because we want them to increase, we want them to live. The most important thing, and the most challenging thing is the habitat loss. That's the number one, and that's where we are focused. Habitat loss is where we are focused, and it's the main challenge that these animals are facing. So the habitat loss has been due to encroachment, mainly encroachment from human beings, but actually for settlement, for materials, building materials, for firewood, and for farming. So those four things have been the key to habitat loss of these gorillas. And of course, conservation organizations and government, of course, led by the leading conservationist authority, which is the Uganda Revenue Authority, has been working tooth and nail to make sure that the habitat is maintained, although the population, of course, of people is not allowing the population growth is not allowing us conservations to achieve our goals of securing a reasonable habitat for these animals. Now, what is being done is a resettlement or introducing alternative sources of firewood, alternative sources of building materials, alternative sources of income that people can stop doing farming in the places where or cutting down the forest habitat which is meant for animals. So those are the activities that are being done. Of course, there are many people involved, including us, including me and other people who love animals, the government, individual, the private sector. But of course, what is being done is not enough. We need to do more. We need to, to resettle more people. Some people don't want. We need to sensitize. We need to teach them value, show them the value, show them why these animals need to live. What is being done is little, so a lot is needed. A lot is needed. I can promise you, I can assure you that when we join hands together, when we get involved ourselves, me and you, whoever is watching and listening to me, if we get involved into this project, into this conservation process, we could actually secure the future of these gorillas. But uh, 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 of course, we need to sensitize to teach people. Also, another thing we need to focus on. We need to teach people to sensitize family planning because the population is growing, the population is high. So maybe, and it's only because people living around or living closer to these animals, they produce a lot. So maybe if we can also sensitize the influence of family planning, the influence, the values or the effects of fewer people living in this area. And then maybe people can start producing less children because that would also reduce on the population increase of human beings. That would also be a great move to ensure safety and life of these animals. And another thing I think is what is being done is to is it's to reintroduce or put people to teach or to take care of people, to teach them, show them, and then protect the gorillas. If you could have watched the video, you could have seen people with guns. It's not that these animals are dangerous, neither are the people dangerous to them, but only where they live, there are other animals like elephants. They are wild elephants, which are actually aggressive. They are buffaloes, which are aggressive, which can actually attack people when you go there, when you visit, when we are visiting them. So that's the only reason why you see people carrying guns. Those are the soldiers that are protecting us. And then there are other people who are called rangers. The game rangers are the people who are doing the monitoring. I mentioned earlier a few minutes ago, talking about the responsibilities of different kinds of people you saw. The game rangers, I talked about the people with the guns, the soldiers, and now the game rangers, they are the people monitoring and helping us know the numbers, know if there is any sick animal, know where they are living, where they are sleeping, where they. So these game rangers, they work in routine and they work in shifts. They follow the gorillas. They are the people following the trends, helping us to do research and study the gorillas. And once more about these gorillas also. Their conservation really truly lies in our hands in making sure that they have where to live and they have enough space. The gorillas are increasing in numbers, but their habitat is not increasing. Instead, it is reducing, being encroached on by the people and on reasons that I mentioned earlier. So, to assure you that the gorillas population is increasing steadily, for example, in Uganda alone, we have 19 groups of gorillas, and the largest group of them has also 19 members. Actually, it has 19 members, and amongst the 19 groups, 11 of them can be tracked, like what we're doing now, looking at them, going to watch them. That is, the activity is called gorilla tracking. But this gorilla tracking specifically is made to resource out income to fund the conservation of these animals. That's why the activity exists. So the money that people pay, the donations that we get, is taken back to pay these rangers to help the government and the organizations involved in the conservation to educate, to go educate the citizens, the people living closer or next to the gorillas, train doctors, give lessons, give food, provide different needs that people may need or may require from the forests where the animals live. So the gorilla tracking is basically emphasized on doing this, using it to substitute the reasons that we gave earlier why the gorillas are losing out the habitat. So the gorilla tracking is the main key activity and the leading activity during the conservation in the conservation of these gorillas. Because when people come to see them, when you come to see the gorillas, the money you pay is the money that is used to look for substitutes of the above the reasons or the resources that I mentioned earlier. And and then another thing that I can talk about briefly is that I'm calling upon each and everyone who loves nature lover, conservationists. It's true that lots of things are happening in the world. Climate change is coming. When you look at the trends, you clearly see that we need to do something and we need to act now. It's now or never. So I call upon each and everyone to come to join us, to join Majo live streaming, what they're doing, the incredible job that they are doing, showing the world what the world is missing out. Join Majo live streaming channel, and then you get you when we join our hands together, we join parties, we shall actually champion the conservation of these animals. And again, as I conclude this conversation, I also want to let you know that I will be when on 1st of July. I'll be on the Zoom meeting. I'll be waiting for you for any other inquiries about these animals. I'll be there to answer more questions about these animals, about the nature, about the vegetation where they live, about very many things that are in line with the conservation of these Forgotten Kingdom. I remain Godfrey, and I say bye to you all.